Hi guys, I'm the Dutch Movie Guy, and today I'm reviewing this book, Star Wars A New Dawn. This is because this book is a prequel to the TV show Star Wars Rebels, and I plan to do my review for Rebels Season 1 this Sunday, so I just wanted to review this, seeing that I recently finished it, and I was like, yeah, it's a prequel, so just review it. Now, a quick thing about my Star Wars Rebels Season 1 review. I taped that review before I read this book. Last week somewhere, because of the fact that I'm doing that video with someone else, so I needed to do it early, at least I wanted to. So therefore, in that video, when I get to the part where I say that I have not yet read A New Dawn, just forget I ever said that. I read it right now, here's my review, and just go with this. Now, is it a little bit confusing that I'm mixing up things? Well, the thing is that because of the fact that I just wanted to do this review today, and it's my schedule and it's what I want to do, I'm like, fuck it. Doesn't matter that there are things not really in line with the other things. I don't care, fuck it. It's just how I want to do things, and just roll with it. Now, before I start this review, I will say that I will also review the other two books that are between 3 and 4 called Lords of the Sith and Tarkin. Because those are two books that are good and like somewhat tie into the events of Rogue One. And I will not review Dark Disciple because I have not read that and I heard it was not all that great, so I don't really have a whole lot of interest in reading that. So that's one thing I won't do. The entire idea is just that I am leading up to Rogue One with reviews for like books and things, because it's Rogue One and Star Wars and it's big thing in my life. Now, I will say that my review will be in two parts, a spoiler-free section, then a spoiler section, and then I will give my grade. So if you've not read Star Wars A New Dawn, you're okay for the first part. I will give a spoiler warning that you can skip around to my actual grade at the end, and then that's the review. So if you've read the book, you can hear my spoilery thoughts at the end, but for now, if you've not, you're fine. Anyway, A New Dawn is, as I said, a prequel to Star Wars Rebels, the TV show that we know now. It takes place 6 years before the start of Season 1 of Rebels, which means that it's 8 years after Revenge of the Sith. And it basically is about how Hera and Canon met each other, because, yeah, they are on the cover of this book. And it's like, we know that they have the team in Rebels, but this is like really the beginning of that. And like, technically you have a little bit more of a beginning, because Hera is the daughter of Cham Syndulla, who we know from Lords of the Sith and Clone Wars. So it's like we already kind of know what she's coming from, but like she's an entirely different character than Cham. And this book sets those two up. Like, Canon is one of the last Jedi left in the universe. He's one of the few that actually survived Order 66. He lost his master then, and now he's like, okay, if I show that I'm a Jedi, then I will get caught by the Empire and I will die, so I will not do anything with the Force anymore. And therefore he's just trying to make himself a living, traveling through the galaxy from planet to planet, take whatever job he can get. So in this book, it's about Kanan being on the planet Gorse and its moon Cinda. There is a relation between the two, because there is this material that can be mined called Thorlight, and he is there to mine that and to transport it, and in the meantime also work in a bar. If you actually read the book, this makes sense. And the reason that he is going from planet to planet doing a lot of jobs is he doesn't want to be recognized. He, as I said, doesn't want to be exposed as a Jedi. He even changed his name, like his real name isn't Kanan Jarrus. That's already something, and it's like he does everything to keep away from that past that he has as a Jedi. However, the thing is, one day he meets Hera, and like, Hera's character is against the Empire. Actually, she's there to like do some things against the Empire and to unite the people who are like her against the Empire as this rebellion. She has this idea of the rebellion, and at that point Kanan kind of has to go with her at the beginning, and then they go into this adventure, and that's basically all I can say without spoiling plot points of the book. I will just say right off the bat, I love this book. This is a great book. I actually managed to finish this book in 4 days, which is a record for me. Like, I could potentially have finished this book in 1 day if I just read the entire day, but like, I have other things to do. But the fact that I was able to finish it in 4 days, that I had this urge to finish it because it was such a great book, that shows a lot, because it's a record for me. Like, the other books I finished in either 5 or 6 or more days, so it's like, I really wanted to finish this book, and I really liked it a lot. It's not my favorite out of the Canon novels, but it is top 3 for me right now. Now, why do I love this book so much? Well, because of the fact how you see Canon grow in this book. Like, you see where he comes from. He was a Jedi, he doesn't want to be that anymore, and then he kind of has to become sort of the Jedi because he has to care again for people. Throughout this book, he's really not into it, but like, his arc is great, that he actually manages to care again. He wants to join with Hera and wants to start this rebellion that we actually see in Star Wars Rebels. But also Hera, like, I already quite liked Hera from the show, but her as well. In this book, you see where she's coming from, you see where she started, what her goal really is, and then you get a little bit more into her character. And like, this book really enhanced my perception of those two characters in Star Wars Rebels. Like, I liked both in Rebels already, like, quite a lot, but this book elevated it for me even more. That's the thing, like, the best books that I have read so far, like a Bloodline or a Lost Stars or a New Dawn or whatever, those kind of books enhance my perception of like the movies or the shows. So when a book does that, I love that. I just love it that I get more characterization. And that's just the two main characters, because beside the fact that we have Kanan and Hera, there are a lot more side characters. They actually have a little bit of a team. Like, you have Zeluna and you have Skelly, two very nice characters. I won't go into a lot, but like, I like both of those characters. And even some of the Imperials, like you have Ray Sloane as an Imperial captain, and you have Demetrius Vidian. Vidian is awesome. Actually one of the better Star Wars villains, I think. Of course, way behind Vader, and I don't think he's as good as Thrawn, but like, he was a strong, great villain, and I really found him menacing, scary, and like, that is exactly how a villain in this book should work. Well, that's basically all I can say about this book in spoiler free. Now I have to go into my spoilers, because there are just some things I have to talk about in the spoiler section. So if you've not read A New Dawn, here is your spoiler warning. You can click right here to skip ahead to where I give my actual grade. So here it goes. So the thing is, this book came out before Star Wars Rebels back in 2014, but I read it a few days ago, and I had already seen Star Wars Rebels before that. So yeah, first off, you know that Kanan and Hera will survive. That's not that big of a deal. Actually, all the spoilers that I kind of like knew already, I was okay with, because I already knew Vidian was going to die. That was my own fault. I was reading Twilight Company, and in Twilight Company at one point it's mentioned that Vidian had died, and then I looked it up, and it's like, oh, Vidian, like, his appearance was in New Dawn, and he dies 11 years before the Battle of Yavin, which is the time that this book takes place. So I was like, yeah, he's going to die at the end. It didn't ruin my experience of the book, though. And the thing is, I knew Ray Sloane is going to be in Aftermath and Life Debt, so I was like, yeah, of course she's going to survive, because I've read Aftermath and Life Debt, so yeah, she's going to be in those books, she's not going to die. Even though I knew all those characters would either die or not die, I didn't mind it. It's like, it's not necessarily about the end result of this book. I just wanted to read this book to get a little bit more of Hera and Kanan, because of course I knew where they were going to end up. I still was going to read it because I still wanted to know how they would meet and what would happen. Like, how is this adventure playing out? And the execution of how I loved. So it's like, I was okay with all those spoilers. I really love the fact that at the end, Skelly actually is the one who sacrifices himself to destroy Vidian. And when that happened, I kind of choked up a little bit, because at that point, like, I really cared for Skelly, and it was really awesome that he got kind of a heroic and satisfying death, and that you finally got rid of Vidian, because you really, at the end, want Vidian to just fucking die. I hated him at the end. He was a great villain, but I fucking hated him, and it's like, even though I knew he was going to die, I really wanted him to just die. So that was a satisfying death for both Scully and Vidian, and just a very good ending. Well, that's, I think, all I can say about A New Dawn. The thing is, I've only said good things, not really bad things, but the reason I'm not giving it a perfect score is because it didn't grip me as much as other books. Like, I was a little bit more invested in a Bloodline or a Lost Stars. Therefore, I will give A New Dawn a 9 out of 10. And 9 out of 10, it's a great score, you know. It still is a very good book. It had me emotionally at points. I just really loved it, and I would definitely recommend everyone reading it, especially if you like Star Wars Rebels. Now, speaking of Rebels, this Sunday I will review Season 1 with a special guest, so look out for that. And now, of course, I wonder, what do you think of New Dawn? Have you read the book, and if so, what were your thoughts on it? Please, whatever you think, let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you've liked my review and you want to see more of my movie and trailer reviews, click right here.